and CTV networks. Argentina and Lionel Messi taking on Iceland just about an hour away from kickoff in that one. That's a Group D game. The other Group C match today is Peru against Denmark at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we round it all off later on today in Group D once again with Croatia against Nigeria. If you are just waking up and joining us, good morning, everybody. Coast to coast across Canada. One game in the books today, and plenty to talk about in the second 45 minutes between France and Australia. 54th minute, Griezmann taken down in the area, no penalty called. Play continues. The referee, though, told by the video assistant referee he should go and look at this. So he takes a look on the screen. He decides it should be a spot kick. So a penalty is awarded. The first time in World Cup history that's happened by video review. Griezmann steps up to score his first World Cup goal. Then, just 3 minutes and 7 seconds later, it is a penalty at the other end. Samuel Umtiti with a handball. And Australia get the chance to tie it up. Mile Jedinak, the Aston Villa man, scores to bring the Aussies level at 1-1. And it stayed that way until 9 minutes from time. Paul Pogba linking up with Olivier Giroud. Pogba with the finish. Goal line technology confirms it went in. It is France 2, Australia 1. The full-time score in Kazan. So France leading Group C right now with the other game still to be played between Denmark and Peru a little later on today. The one-goal victory for Didier Deschamps' side. But certainly plenty to talk about as we welcome you inside TSN's World Cup Control. Christian Jack, Stephen Caldwell, and delighted to welcome in alongside me a man who refereed the World Cup final a few years ago. Howard Webb, also refereed Champions League final as well. Known throughout the world for all of his great decision-making. Great to have you along with us, and perfect timing as well after what happened in this game. We'll get to some of those decisions in a moment, but KJ, let's start with the big picture for France here. The fact they managed to get this done. We talked about Pogba, how big this tournament is for him, and he gets the winning goal close to the end of this match.
Yeah, in fortunate circumstances, let's be honest, the deflection, I don't even know if he's ready to take the shot, and it comes off BH and just goes in. And in the end, I think for France, it'll be the usual question marks over tactics with Deschamps. The press won't be very happy, but from their end it'll just be job done, move on, and not really a lot that you can take away from what was
I don't think this is Pogba's goal. I think it's an OG by Behich. I think Pogba's trying to take it past the Australian defender, and then the deflection causes it to go in. It's really unfortunate from a defensive point of view, but the first passage of play where Pogba really drove forward with the ball, put some tempo into the attack, it was a brilliant little 1-2 with Mbappe and then Giroud, and as we can see there, that's why we have goal line technology. Magnificent, slight inches, centimetres even, KJ, to allow it to be a goal. But fortunate for France, they got off the hook a little bit there.
Yeah, Australia won. Technology too.
Absolutely. There's a lot of talk about whether video assistant referee is a good thing, but there's absolutely no doubt goal line technology is, Howard. How does this help referees out?
It's just wonderful, isn't it? You know, he's got this watch that he wears on his wrist, and when it goes over really quickly, it flashes goal on the screen of the watch, and in his earpiece he gets the word goal, 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 so you can't miss it. And you know, when you look at those pictures, the assistant is not even in the frame. You know, he's still on the top of the 18-yard box where the shot came from. Real echoes of Frank Lampard in Bloemfontein. It looks almost the same, doesn't it? This one's tighter, but interestingly enough as well, that, you know, back in Bloemfontein 2010, that was the last time we saw a Uruguayan referee refereeing in the World Cup. Jorge Larionda went home after that incident. This is the next Uruguayan to take charge of a game. Similar situation, but he's got the comfort of this technology, and it's wonderful.
His first World Cup game, he'll go down in history becoming the first referee to go to video assistant referee and award a penalty. Did they get this one right, Howard?
I think they did. I think if this had not been given as a penalty, this would have been one of those scandalous decisions. France would have said, why is this not a penalty? Griezmann's coming in. I don't know if Risdon gets a slight touch on the ball as he reaches in. Even if he does, it still goes through to Griezmann. He's in on goal, and you know, there's some follow-through contact that brings Griezmann down. The referee is quite a way away because of the speed of the attack. I mean, these players move the ball so quickly. As a referee, you just can't get the best view. He doesn't see that contact there on the back of Griezmann's leg. The video referee does see it, he sees it, brings Griezmann down. That's just a penalty, clear and obvious. I think it's a good use of the system. I don't know if that's the overall view, but I can't see how anybody can look at that and come to any other conclusion.
I agree with that, Howard. What I want to ask for you, and to give clarification to everybody at home, is I'm not quite sure if Risdon touches it either, but what he does do is he has that motion with his hand pointing to the ball as if he's telling the referee that he does touch it. Does that go into your mindset, and does it even matter at that point if he did touch the ball?
I don't think it does matter, because he doesn't put the ball out of harm's way. The ball's still there for Griezmann to go through with. I've seen players point to the ball when they are a yard away from the ball. You know, it's just like a default reaction. It's like,
all the time.
They do this sort of thing.
All the time.
You know, 50,000 have seen they've got nowhere near the ball.
Yeah.
So they do it automatically, so you just have to put it out of your mind.
Right. People who are against video assistant referee would say that everyone was saying coming into this tournament it will be used maximum benefit, minimum interference. It has to be clear and obvious. Does that meet that threshold?
Yeah, it does. It does for me. And there will, and we said a few days ago, there'll still be talking points. And we saw in yesterday's game, you know, there was a possible foul. I said, well done, FIFA, for not setting the threshold too low. This one is beyond that threshold, in my opinion. I think if that had not been given, can you imagine the talk that the French, you know, they would have said this is a clear penalty. It's a turning point of the game. That's what it's there for. And it didn't take long, did it? You know, they went to the screen within, it looked like a minute. They got the decision right.
Remember this, you've got arguably one of the finest goal scorers in the game going towards the goalkeeper in a one-on-one situation where I would say 95% of the time in one-on-one situations he's going to score, and you've got a defender touching him and ultimately fouling him on the way through. So I think that definitely meets the requirement of clear and obvious for me. I mean, ultimately, you know, if that was somewhere else on the field and it was just a foul, they're not going to get involved in that, and that's why, Howard, you've got those 4 major requirements for this.
Exactly, just in the penalty area there. That would have been a red card as well, probably you know, a couple of years ago. Maybe there's a little chance of the ball coming away from Griezmann, but there'd be an expectation of a red there. We don't need a red card now. The triple punishment has been taken away. But as KJ says, I mean, you know, Griezmann's there. He's going to go down when that contact takes him down. Otherwise, he's going to drive through on goal and try and score. Yeah, and it's easy to look at it and replay and say it's not too much of a touch, but at that kind of speed, Howard, you know, it's considerable. You see, it just comes into the back of his leg as he's trying to bring that left foot up into the air. There's no doubt about it. I can't believe I'm agreeing with a referee, but it is a penalty kick in this instance. And I feel for the lad a little bit, Risdon, because he's tried to make the tackle. You know, he's got a little bit in the ball, but then Griezmann's got another touch to the ball, and for me, it's just inevitable. It has to be a penalty kick. It's unfortunate, but correct decision made.
Howard, is there any reason why you think he didn't give it right away? The referees, does he have a thought process now that maybe I've got that little bit in the background that to help me, or maybe it's just his positioning? Yeah, I think he's looking behind. The ball's moved so quickly by France in that situation through to Griezmann, so he's looking from behind. He doesn't get that side angle. The best view for referees is like the in-between view where you're looking between the players. When you're looking through the back, it's a nightmare sometimes. You just can't see what's happening ahead of the defender, for example. So he doesn't get the best angle. Subconsciously, let's see how officials behave going forward if they do maybe rely on the system. But we're saying to our referees in the MLS, just keep making the decision. You know, don't hold off, make the call, and the VAR will check it. And I think it's just down to positioning.
The next penalty wasn't so controversial because Umtiti, I'm not quite sure what was going through his head when he decides to put his hand up in the air, and maybe Stephen knows, I'm not too sure.
We'll lean on our expert.
You've been in those positions before, I'm sure, Stephen.
It's easy sitting here, guys, we can say. But when you try and jump for a header, you obviously have to move your arms. Now, I have to say, I don't know why his arm's in this position, because it's above his head, it's almost straight up. Don't know what he's doing. I think it's maybe a rush of blood, the pressure, the situation. There's no doubt about it. You feel it when you're out there, and Umtiti has a rush of blood to the head and sort of swings that right arm up. It's hard to tell where it's intentional, however, but it's a certain penalty kick. Yeah, it certainly is. Obviously, the hand's in that unnatural position, and I look at these and think, why do defenders do this? And, you know, like you said, maybe the pressure, maybe the panic, I don't know, but it's a clear penalty.
Howard, you use the word unnatural there. Is that the main word that many people have to think about when they're officiating games when it comes to handball? Because as analysts, as
we got no idea
sometimes as commentators, one of the most difficult things is to say, is that handball, is that not? And I can see you by your reaction, it's the same for you, but what are the requirements in your mind as an official that go through?
It is one of the most difficult areas to be consistent on. We would look at situations when I worked in the Premier League, and there'd be 20 of us in a room, and we'd be split down the middle sometimes on handball, which is quite, I guess, concerning in some ways. That's why, you know, I've always thought, you know, go for the ones that are deliberate, where the player moves the arm to the ball, or chooses to put their arm in a really unnatural position where you don't expect it to be like this one. But if you're just moving around, I always took the view, don't give soft penalties for handball. Players do move. Go for the ones like this one where the arm's clearly in a place it shouldn't be.
Howard Webb, World Cup final referee in 2010. Great to have him along.